confidence, and of course, mindset mastery when it comes to game, which is essential for all men everywhere. No matter what you have become a master at or are trying to be a master at, business, athletics, military, whatever you're trying to do, the woman will crush you. You don't know how to deal with women. And I know this because I have witnessed firsthand Arash coaching hundreds of guys, firsthand meaning like in person, and the evolution that every man goes through. There's a uniqueness to everybody, but there's also a big commonality between men. And so I see it in the fat guy, in the rich guy, in the skinny guy, in the bodybuilder guy, in the fighter, in the dork, in the young guy, in the older man. I've seen it all. And maybe I haven't seen it all, but I've seen enough to know that it's a really common malady, which means like an illness or what's up? What's up, Chief Rocco? Go live, guys. If you want to go live, now's a good time to stream with me. I'm in a talkative mood. We'll be streaming now for until about 7:45. Then I got to start tapping in, tapping in. All right. I should have shared this on the Telegram groups. That's okay. So I'm Yogi Chris. I live with Arash Zahar D-Bazar. Zahar is the demon king of seduction. He's trapped it. He's trapped that demon motherfucker. He's been it, man. I was around when he was just Arash D-Bazar. So about a year into really studying him, he came across a sorcerer, a black magician, the demon Zahar, this and that. Okay, he's making a pact with it. Oh, fuck, I gotta face that. Like, here I am, just some white guy, PhD student, trying to get girls and game, and here this guy I recognize as the best. I had met him in person. He was just Arash D-Bazar. There was no Zahar. There was no AZD. It didn't exist. It was just AD5E. Arash D-Bazar, fifth element, or Arash D-Bazar, or just Arash. Like, that's partly why I call him Arash sometimes. That's how I met him. Like, AZD I say, but, you know, that's the acronym he goes by now. But it's like, I had to face that as a student, that, dude, this guy that I'm following is doing a demon pact? What the fuck is this? I just got into this for the girls. I had to face the fact that he had more women, better looking women, more loyalty, more dedication, longer term relationships, every which way you measured it. And then on top of that, I saw new women. I would be around, I'd see how he picked up women. It's not the typical pickup. It's a charm, it's a charisma, it's a presence, it's a expressiveness, a creativity, a humor, it's a social awareness, basically. And so much of the value, when we talk about value differentials and the girl dates up and survival value of the man and replication value of the women, and this is a value exchange, just like capitalism. Dating is like the ultimate capitalism. Like, if you don't have the value that she wants, she's not going to buy. She's just not going to buy. And rape is like theft. You're just stealing. You're stealing your sexuality. I mean, it's worse than theft, but you get it. Analogously, like, you want it to be just consensual, voluntary exchange. That would be seduction. That it's just like, get her every step of the way to willingly give it over to you because it's valued. It's valuable to her. She's getting something for it. She's not just gifting it to you. So how do you solicit that? How do you entice that? How do you seduce that from her to give it to you? How do you submit her? Right? That's game. And witnessing AZD do it so many times, I knew he was the best. And then he comes across Zahar, and I'm like, I gotta face that. Okay, I mean, I personally, at the time, I had reasoned it because of all of my drug experiences with psychedelics, overdosing with psychedelics, just like heroic doses, saw some crazy shit, you know, lived through it, right? And that combined with my wrestling background, which made me very tough. It made me deal with a lot of internal pain and suffering with hunger and thirst and still performing and the effort and the broken bones and things like that. And that combined with the psychedelics, and it was just, I was willing to tolerate it. I was like, let's go. I know guys are going to be put off by this, but for some reason, because I had never been exposed to demons or demonology or anything like that, exorcisms, and I was like, let's go. Whatever. He's the best. I'm here to learn the game. Let's do that. And over time, it just made more and more sense. And I would question it, but I wasn't like questioning it. What do I mean by that is I would raise my hand, ask a question, this or that, but I wasn't like tiptoeing my way through it, like each step of the way doubting, like, is this legit? Is this guy for real? Is this going to work? I knew it was going to work, and I never doubted that I would follow that path. And over time, I've learned that I also have been infected by the demon of seduction. It's like venom. The superhero Venom. It's like a symbiote. It's like you get it, and it's like you have a power. Mindgate Mondo. You're an interesting character, bro. Interesting character. So you get this power, and you know, I was talking about it on the daily class today. Guys, there's a $97 daily class. If you're not on the daily class with AZD, then, you know, you haven't even begun. You're not even starting. You know, you're approaching the starting line. If you're on these social media accounts and you've been watching clips of AZD, you know, the bald tattoo guy, you are approaching the starting line. You haven't started the game race yet. And if you're learning some other game system from some other people, coach whoever, or whoever that teaches game, you're actually going in the wrong direction. You're running in the wrong direction. They don't, unless it's Mystery and his school, and then it's similar direction. You're still going off on a tangent, but you're at least going kind of in the same direction. Because his system for picking up girls is true. It's the right way. It's decoded the natural, and you know what? So much of it is what I would talk about today is body language. You know, AZD said today, body language speaks volumes. He said something like that. And I immediately rewrote that in my mind. I said it differently. Body language speaks most of the story. You know, if you read a book, here I have a nice 1,000+ page book, Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand, one of the greatest books ever. 1,000 pages. Imagine if 55% of it was body language. How you hold your face, the proximity, the direction you face your body, what you're doing. Are you twitching? Is your foot twitching? Are you sweating? Like, what is your body communicating without you even opening your mouth or using your voice at all? We can include eyes and eyebrows and stuff. That's your body. We could say it's face communication, but that's still your body. You know, versus voice is clearly not your body. Your body makes the voice, but it's separate from your body because I don't even need to see you. I can hear you. But I have to see you to see your face. I have to see you to see your body. So body language tells most of the story. Here's another book. Imagine more than half of the story was written with pictures. It's body language. Okay? So when we talk about confidence, certainty, it's a body language. That's why guys got to come in person. That's why Tony Kosminski, my cover fee gets deducted from what I pay. That doesn't make sense. People don't know how to communicate, man. People don't know how to communicate. You know, something interesting has happened. I have a PhD, right? And so in my PhD, I had to get a certain mastery over words, even though my PhD is in a certain kind of environmental science and engineering. I needed the vocabulary of those things. And, you know, there's a lot of nitpicking in the higher levels of education, PhD and anything, about what does this word mean? You know, you mean this, that has double meanings, this and that, this and that. And no, I didn't. You're doing God's work, brother. Yes, I know, brother. Join up daily class. Guys, if you're online, let's talk. I want to talk with you about game and relationships. People are funny. Man, the condition of people in the world is really bad. You know, you'll have guys that'll join streams and talk shit, and it's like, what a terrible condition that person's got to be in. And, you know, and yet I believe there is hope for everybody. You just need the willpower, the right technology, the right, you know, philosophy, the right teacher, role model. And if you have that, if you have the drive, the teachings, and the teacher, then you can make it. And then part of it's going to be you need a community. That's where IMC, just on face value, observing it from the outside, beats every movement. The community. There's no movement outside of spiritual movements like going and joining a monastery. Do people move across the country, sometimes across countries, to live near the teacher or with the teacher? And that's impressive because AZD is literally a living master in this field and beyond, because there's a lot of things that you can't measure. Like, you don't measure how good at game he is. And you know, what's interesting is because I was a yoga teacher, and I still am, and actually, as I get better at game, my teaching of yoga gets better, and my practice. Even though I practice much less, and I can't do as many fancy poses, my hand balances are not what they once were, of course. It's like, but my yoga, because you're trying to scratch an itch with your personal practices, with your business endeavors, you're trying to scratch an itch, but you're scratching it in the wrong place. Your itch is about relationships. Man, do you want soft, beautiful, submissive women in your life? supporting your vision and dream with their enthusiasm and their good nature and their femininity, and you want that. You want it fully yours and not anybody else's. And you want that. And you're trying to scratch that itch with all this other shit. And you gotta face that. Or don't. You don't gotta face it, but I faced it. As I was a PhD student, had a lot going for me, all this background. Oh man, I had a whole trajectory in life. And learning game was so against all of that. And it would create so much resistance in the people around me. They didn't like talking about game. Man, ruined a lot of relationships, burned a lot of bridges on this path. Kind of got to be willing to do that, Even with IMC Nation. That's why a lot of guys don't even think I'm likable. And they used to comment how much different I was in field, that you go in field with me and I'm a lot more fun. I'm still probably not the funnest guy. I'm just not that guy. I'm a serious guy. And maybe I'll change or whatever. And I will. Because even in wrestling, if I was bad at the front headlock, then it's my weak point. It's, where people defeat me, then I got to be the best. I got to become the best at that. Because everybody knows my weakness, they'll go for it. So it's like, I've made a practice of making my weak point my strong point. You just have to in all things. On the guitar, like you get good at a song, and then there's that one point that's like the bottleneck, like it's too fast, or it's too fast of a transition, or a big spread on the fingers, and it's like, if that's your weak point, it kind of fucks up the song. If you play it really well, and then 2 minutes into it, you like kind of fuck it up, and then you hope everybody like kind of brushes over it, and you just keep going. Like you got to make your weak point your strong point, because when you make that weak part of the song just as good as the rest, it's actually your strong point, because that would be everybody else's weak point. So relative to everybody, that's your strongest point, is that you did that weak point stronger than anybody. So guys' weak points are definitely body language, because there's plenty of examples of guys in IMC Nation that have been studying the philosophy for years and years, and their body language stinks. It just stinks. They're unaware of it. That's why you got to come in person. Tony Kosmicki's moving here. I don't know how often he's going to be able to afford to go out, but he'll keep improving his condition. And that's the thing. That's the thing. I never apologize for my survival, and I never apologize if I make other people's survival better. That's why I can tell Travis, take out credit cards, fuck stocking up money, spend all your money on this game. Because if you're like me, and I think you are, handsome white guy, then as you get better at this game and you learn what AZD is teaching, you will make more money. You will apply it to your life, your strategy, your schedule. You'll be sharper. You're missing opportunities that are right in front of you. And I just know this. No matter how sharp you are now, you'll become sharper when you come around us. You'll remember things that you had forgotten. It's a very spiritual thing what we're doing, guys. Guys, this book right here, this is an L. Ron Hubbard book, Dianetics 55. Most of you will never read it. A lot of you will hate on it, like, oh, cult, this and that, whatever. I'm not a Scientologist, but I read shit. Just like I'm not a Christian, but here's the Bible. My bookmark. Look at that. I'm in Psalms. Okay? There's a picture right there. There's Jesus. Oh, it's a different angle for everybody. But anyway, there's Jesus in the middle. Everybody can see him. Right next to, well, on the other side, you can't see it here on YouTube, L. Ron Hubbard, who wrote Scientology. Right there. Okay, he's different everywhere. There, I got everybody. Okay? Then this journey of surrender, of connecting to your heart, of presence, conscious presence. We have Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, transcendental meditation. We have aliens. This is not everybody. This is just some of the characters that it's so defining for what we do. And guys will get into game wanting really fast results. Let's get same night sex. In a month, I want a 10. Okay, good luck. Good luck. Go do your shit. Good luck. Guys, they'll want to, get married. It's just, I understand this is about body language. How does Christ consciousness come into your life? Oh, man. It's so general. Shit. I'm going to give a general answer for that. Okay, so sometimes things don't make sense in life. You're striving, you're trying to do things, you have a strategy, a plan, and sometimes you internally get stuck in an emotion and negativity, in things that are paralyzing your movement. You're not making progress. More than anything, Christ consciousness has enabled me to overcome those and given me a sense of peace, that I was only able to touch through physical yoga practices. And I always knew that that was a limitation because I won't always be able to do my physical yoga practices. And the path of becoming more responsible in life, you have less and less time for those yoga practices. So it was a mechanical way of getting to that stage of enlightenment. And Christ consciousness and the practices, how AZD teaches them, are that, So overcoming all obstacles, basically. That's how it applies in all things. A sense of God, a sense of protection, a sense of perfection. And these things are very important in game. A sense of gratitude and forgiveness. Things are very important in this game. In the highest level game. You can learn game from other people, but nobody's as high as AZD. That's not the crutch. That's the thing I lean on. That's the thing I can talk with such certainty. That's the thing that made me be an asshole to everybody. Because it was like, you either join or you don't. And fuck off if you don't want to join. And if the guy drops out, well, why are you dropping out? Well, fuck off, you fucking retard. Get the fuck out. And it's like, well, why are you doing that? Bro, because I only want people that are about this. And if the guy's about this, that won't stop him. It won't stop him. All it'll do is wake him up to his beta behavior. And if it stops him, then you're not here for the right reason, because you shouldn't be joining for me because you like me. You should be joining for the teacher and the teachings. Yeah, you're a representative of him, Yogi Chris. Cool. Look around. There's 31 other guys that moved to Vegas. They're also representations. You don't have to go on mine. Sure, I'm giving a lot of credit, the highest rank, been around longer than most people. You measure that if you want to. I mean, I obviously measure it. It's very important. So you guys, aren't taking this serious. So body language. Most of the story is told through body language. Hold on. Sorry, Siri. Hold on. I can't hit this vape thing on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. While I hit this vape thing, I gotta lean off camera for it.
Okay. I have another question. So, did you ever read the Bible, read the Quran, read the spiritual books?
I haven't read the Quran, but I've read many spiritual books.
Okay, so what I was asking about Christ consciousness is that marriage is a big point for me, because in the book it says don't have sex before marriage.
Where does it say that?
Honestly, I don't know. I haven't read it. That's
okay, yeah, so then I wouldn't quote it if you haven't read it. So I would, before you ask that question, because that is brainwashing. You've built a belief system on that piece of information. I would recommend looking that up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm asking you, because I think you have much more knowledge than me, and I have a lot of these false ideas. You should only have sex after you have marriage.
Yeah, well, I mean, so there you go. Look it up. And then, you decide if the righteousness here that's being exhibited through IMC Nation, the guys, AZD, the teachings, the classes, if the righteousness and the ethics resonates with you. Because there's a lot of people that'll talk about spirituality and whatever, but they don't exemplify it. They're not examples of it. And if they are, they're very weak. So you look at them and it's like, women aren't attracted to them. How is that? We gotta somehow make sense of the fact that the dating game, sex, mating, relationships, we can label it whatever, marriage or whatever, that's just mating. The mating game was also created by God. That God created that so that humanity continues and improves generation after generation. And so if we're not playing that game and winning at it, how are we really in alignment with God? So, but that doesn't mean that the players that get the most women are aligned with God, because Satan or whatever is ruling the earth. It's a lot of evil. Even L. Ron Hubbard, who's not Christian, I mean, it's ignorance. It's all clouds in the mind. People are operating like robots, zombies, and that's stupid. So you can win the game as a zombie, but you're still a zombie. You can also liberate yourself, but be losing at the game. But you're liberated, so you don't give a fuck, but you're losing. So you're not really a good example for other people, because if everybody followed you, then life would end, because everybody sucks at the game. So winning at the game and liberation, and that's IMC Nation. Now, am I fully liberated? No. But I've overcome so much more. First of all, I was a yogi for many years. I still am a yogi, but I was a professional. I was in the mix with it. I met many masters of it, masters of it. And they're miserable with relationships, all of them. I met many PhD scholars, many professors, miserable. I met many wrestlers, miserable, like Olympic gold medalists and world champions, many world-renowned wrestlers, miserable with women. Since I've joined IMC, I've met so many men miserable with women. I've met other dating coaches miserable with women, except for Hypnotica. But Hypnotica has a lot of other issues. But he's he's pretty boss with women, but it's different. His ethics are different, and I believe that's why his following is weaker. He has a weaker following than IMC. IMC Nation, 32 guys moved to Vegas. We live in houses with each other. Like, and there's man, it's strong. So you measure the teacher and you measure his movement. His movement is an extension of him. Just like you measure the player and you measure his women. How good looking are they? How compliant are they? How perfect are they? That's why when you look around, wherever you get advice from, don't have sex before marriage, how good is their marriage going? Does she seem happy to you? Does he seem happy to you? Is he looking at other women? You know, you got to see, where is the advice coming from? One of the basic first pillars of IMC Nation, before you take advice from somebody, look at, are they exemplifying that piece of advice that they're saying?
Yeah, exactly, because the spiritual woman that is giving me this advice actually got divorced and is not really happy.
No, she should follow that advice. She's talking to you as if you're her. She should not have sex before marriage. But marriage, is that a government thing or is that a lifelong commitment between two people?
Lifelong commitment.
Okay, so I never made somebody my friend or my woman thinking I'm going to break up with this person one day. I did it for life. We broke up because they were rude and I told them you need to leave, and they had the option to become unrude, and they chose they'd rather be rude than be with me. So technically they broke up with me. I just told them a standard. They didn't want to live up to the standard. My standard was righteous. I wasn't saying to be with me you need to rape children. And they were like, well, I don't want to do that just to be with you because that's unrighteous. So if I have a righteous standard, and I'm not just by myself making up standards, I'm around a lot of men who are practicing game and ethics and psychology and all this stuff. And so even if I'm not perfect...
Chris, you're pretty much like an embodiment of love, and you pretty much love like the women that are around you, and you want to like have a long-term relationship with them, and if it doesn't work out from their end, it doesn't work out, but you're always striving to have a long-term relationship that's actually of quality, if I understand correctly.
It's similar, you know, you're learning. So you're young and you're learning, and so just keep watching the game. You're very close. There's a few ways of talking, and it's not a language barrier because you're speaking fine, and I understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay.
It's just a perspective that you're coming from. You know, and we could go back and forth a lot. So I'll just say this, and then I'll go back to my point that I was going to talk on, is that more than I really love the women, I do, but I really love myself. And more than that, I love God. Because if you try to love yourself, you're either going to accept things about yourself that you shouldn't, or you're going to come across things that you don't love about yourself and you'll crash. Because you can't make sense of, I need to love myself, but I don't love this thing about me. So by loving God, I know I have a lot of evil in me. I'm on a planet full of demons and all this shit, and you know I'm polluted. It's like if you breathe polluted air, you have pollution in you. If you drink polluted water, you have pollution in you. If you live on a polluted Satan planet, you're gonna have evil in you. Fuck. But I know God, and that's where my self-love comes from, because He loves me. And so when it comes to loving women, I love me. And a woman that has been attracted to me and connects herself to me and follows me in proper order of life, I love that experience. That's beautiful because it's so righteous. It's what God wanted. If I'm the most attractive man in the room, why should I not have 10 girlfriends? Why should they not all want to be with me? Why should I deny 9 of them because somewhere somebody told me 1 man, 1 woman, but clearly I'm the best choice for all those women? Why should I damn them to a worse experience of life just because I can't have more than 1 woman? They should choose a lesser man because 1 man, 1 woman. No. If all the women want to be mine and they survive better being with me, even if it's just 1 minute a day, so be it. That's called responsibility.
Chris, I have another question.
Yes, you're full of it. Okay, let's go. Last one.
Okay.
Emo Hercules, join up, man. What the fuck? Dude is so buff. Guy has a 10 body. He's like a 10. And his voice is like a 9. I don't know how you're doing with women, brother, but I know the symptoms. And when a guy perfects his body to that level, he's trying, remember Travis, remember Tony, remember everybody listening, he's trying to scratch an itch in the wrong place. There's an itch in you to have a certain quality of relationships with women that you're trying to scratch that itch by perfecting your body beyond perfection. And you're doing a great job. And that's how I know you could be one of the best in the game in the world, because of the dedication it takes to do that. But it's not game. Making your body perfect is not game. It's helpful in game, but it's not the game itself. Okay, last question. Jean.
Yeah. So pretty much I view myself as a servant of God instructions. So pretty much, okay, if I understand this concept correctly, I love God, and then the women that come to me, they love the love I have for God, and then I give through this place of love that is connected to God, I give them from this place. This makes sense.
If it makes sense to you, it's again you're like near it. So for the game lectures, I would go into the recordings and I would start around early April, and start. That's where it becomes Temple of Christ. For about 5 or 6 weeks, you'll get AZD's mindset on Christ consciousness as a player, because he makes 3 new girlfriends in that period, and they're all beautiful. I saw him do it. And I don't think any of them are still with him, actually, so they were short-lived relationships. He still had 7 other girlfriends. But, through righteous gaming, he seduced some very beautiful women. And they agreed in front of all of us, I'm his woman, and whatever, and then they fucked off. They're all still around. AZD's game is so powerful that it keeps women in orbit, even if they're in very distant orbits. And it's a gradual. He's very slow with his seduction because he's already has so many women, dude. He doesn't really have that much time. So just with little communications here and there, he keeps the women's buying temperature high, and it's not always pleasing them, because a lot of times he's dismissing them or correcting them, which doesn't feel good. But it's in a way that the women have to think about it a lot later. And it's tried and tested, and it's true. It's not just guys convincing themselves that she's going to think about that later. It's, bro, you just got to look at the evidence. 7 girlfriends, all 9s and 10s. Many of them 10s. Just like perfect, and they all know about each other. And they're so obedient. It's like the evidence is there of the top player. So, yeah, I recommend watch April and beyond and catch up from there. And everybody else online, TikTok, Instagram, the daily classes with AZD will change your life forever, man. $97. It sounds too good to be true, but you're really wasting your money on other shit. I have 2 now. I had 3, but I broke up with one like 5 or 6 days ago because she was just not appreciative enough. She was rude, and she wanted me to chase her to fix it, and I don't chase a bitch, and you can fuck off. And she didn't want it bad enough to fix it. So something I know is that the Lord provides. I made enough space in my mind, heart, body, life, everything to accommodate a 3rd woman. She left, there's a void. God will provide. Ain't no problem. And it's going to be an upgrade, because I am much better than I was a year and a half ago when she got with me. So she got with me at a year and a half ago power level. I kept getting more powerful. She improved, but she wasn't matching. And it's not because it wasn't available. She just wasn't doing it. She got butthurt about ego, whatever, the obstacles, because of distance, whatever. And so now there's a space. Ladies, any ladies watching, there's an opening now. I have an opening. I'm accepting applications. Submit your application to pimpinyogi@imcbase1.com. pimpinyogi@imcbase1.com. And I look forward to conducting interviews. Okay. So that's where it's at right now. And of course, dating other girls, whatever. I'm a dating coach. I never meant to be a dating coach. So I had to break it to my main girl the other day. It's like, I'm a dating coach. She's like, you said you weren't going to be a dating coach. I was like, yeah, I know, but now I've become a dating coach. What do you want? I'm a yogi. I'm a yogi that became a dating coach. I can't even not. It's actually what I already was. She got with me a lot because I was lecturing and streaming and giving my ideas out. And she learned to really trust and rely on the information. And which has been an obstacle actually in recent times, because I lecture mostly to the guys, and I'm sure the girls sneak in and watch some of these accounts and listen to my lives, whatever. Fuck you if you are disobeying me and doing that, and you'll fuck yourself in the ass real hard at some point, because you're holding a secret if you do that. You should just confess. Just tell me. I won't even be mad, honestly. I just truly think it's not for your ears. I think I will talk to the guys in ways to convey a certain quality about life here that I wouldn't say that to women. It's just not the same. I wouldn't talk about menstruation to men the same way I talk to women. I wouldn't talk about murder and war the same way with women as I would with men. You talk about things differently. It's not just the extreme subjects, that just emphasizes it. That makes it obvious. Like, you shouldn't talk the same to both genders. Or when you are talking to both genders, then there's some neutral space in a way to talk about things. So that's why I was talking about PhD, actually. I had to get a certain mastery of words in that field. I was very numb and dumb when it came to relationship language, emotions, understanding what women really mean, what people really mean. Guys have learned to communicate like women, so they're very indirect. They don't say what they mean. They mean something else. And they're not conscious of it. It's one thing to consciously mean something you're not saying because you're playing with somebody or you're playing a game. You know, teasing is like that. You may be saying, I really like you, but your words are saying, fuck you, fat cow, big fat cow. But you might be intending to say, you're fucking hot, and I have to talk to you this way so I don't get hypnotized by your beauty, or some shit. That would be like the literal statement. Nobody's talking literally, you know, when it comes to that. And, so what am I saying? So, the words, as I've gotten more advanced at these teachings and these understandings, in a lot of ways I've become, my vocabulary has gotten smaller. I'm not as intellectual with my wording, even though it may seem like I am. But my understanding of basic vocabulary has become so much more precise. And so little words, like when Jean was talking, just a few words out of place for me, they're not the same way I would describe it. They actually mean different things. If you change the wording at all, it changes the meaning. And that's what you'll learn. You'll learn all these micro calibrations internally, and as you adjust internally, you'll notice the subtleties in what she's saying. Because you've measured it in you, you'll measure it in what other people say and how they talk. And that will help you tremendously. And you're going to learn if you study this game. Like Rocco, I don't know if you're still on. Rocco's still on. You know, guys, the advanced training is still happening right now. Here's a few things I want to tell you about. The Colony. It's the name, it's the brand of the 2-week training that AZD is doing. Very advanced, very powerful. I don't even want to really tell you about it, but it's going to have a lot of imagination, overcoming character flaws, overcoming beliefs by shifting into certain ways of being that are completely overcoming, that you've overcome those problems in your character. Darkness, doubt, uncertainty, lack of confidence, things like that. It's mindsets that shift you into, it shakes you into a better way of being. That's the advanced camps. There's also infield products, okay? I'm going to create a package for these. Right now they're all sold separately. So I have infield video, basically they range from $100 or about $80 to $300. And these are infield, the highest priced one, or the most high quality. Video, audio, AZD interacting with these models. I recruited them through my girl. We recruited these models for parties, gaming them. It's pristine, man. You see a lot of playfulness, teasing, what it sounds like, looks like. The body language, so much. It's over 2 hours of footage. Then we have other streams and whatever, you know, seducing strippers, infield, in the bedroom, whatever, talking to the camera. But you see how language patterns are done. You see how comfort is done. What does a comfortable hangout in your house look like? And we have other audio recordings of infield. So if you're on a budget, if you only have $80, I got something for you. If you got $300, man, I got something great for you. If you got $600, I got it all for you. So much infield, beyond lectures. Watch the lectures for the philosophy and how we talk amongst the men and how we debrief about our experiences, and then watch the infield. What does it look like with women? Oh man, that'll just blow your socks off. So there's the advanced training Colony, which is advanced mindset. There's the infield, and that's about it. And then of course, like I've spoken with Travis, everybody, you can come to Vegas for 3 days. 3 days, 2 nights, come to all the lectures in person, go out with us 2 nights. It'll totally rip apart your reality. We do not go out like normal guys. It'll be easy. I'll coach you how to do it. You just get dressed, smell good, meet us at the exact time and place when we say, and then enjoy the ride. And 5 hours, and 4 or 5 hours, and you'll have a bunch of interactions with beautiful women, a lot of interactions with high-value guys. 2 nights of that, 3 days of lectures, you'll go home 10 years more evolved. At least. Maybe 10 lifetimes, really, because if you are on your own, you're only going to go downhill. Imagine Travis, Tony, Jean, you're just learning, but Travis and Tony, if you didn't have IMC Nation, what would your game be doing right now? What are you gonna do? You know, same for me. Okay. I'm getting a lot of messages that I'll need to catch up with. Are there any questions online, Zoom, Telegram, Instagram? I didn't even go into body language really. I guess that's really the pitch for coming in person. Or getting the infield products. If you can get the infield, you'll see the body language. It'll change you. And if you come in person, then your body language will change, bro. We won't even really need to correct it that much. One or two things. But you will change. And you'll change your posture. Okay? Any questions about anything? Comments? Going once? Actually, I'll give it a second. I've been talking one way, so I know you get like stuck in a certain way of thinking. So I'll give it a minute. All right. Where's my water? Okay. Okay, so Tony Kosmiski is moving here. He's been offered a place at IMC Base 2. I don't know if he'll take it. He has other options. And as more guys come here, you know, there's 3 or 4 other guys also looking to move here in the next month and a half or so. Maybe 2 months. Then, you know, a new base will open up, most likely. So look forward to that. Try to get your life in order that you can move here. That's the best way to learn this stuff and save your life. You still have a long life ahead of you. It's no problem to come move here for 10 years, just like you would go to a monastery in India, live there for 10 years. Come to Vegas, live here for 10 years. Bro, you'll be giving your life back because you're not really living yet. Okay? Same for you, Rocco. And everybody else, TikTok everywhere. I'll see you guys on the next stream. Praise the Lord. Jai Guru Dev. Be the best. Fuck the rest.